Welcome to Navigating Mecklenburg County Deeds. This tutorial was created under the guidance of Mecklenburg Genealogical Society to assist you in accessing original land documents from Mecklenburg County Register of Deeds. First, some notes on navigating the tutorial. At the bottom of the screen, YouTube has provided some icons. On the lower right-hand side of the screen is a broken square icon. Please click on this to expand your view to full screen. Pressing the Escape key at any time will minimize your view. On the bottom left of the YouTube icons is the Pause Play button. You may click on this at any time to pause play as you follow along. Click on the icon again to continue. To the right of the Pause Play icon is a megaphone icon. This will enable you to adjust the volume. Once you have conducted preliminary research of your family and filled in the gap with vital records and census records, many then overlook the next big step in research: land records. According to Dollaride, in America, land and property records apply to more people than any other written record. Why is that? If we look at the latest known records for birth, the state did not require registering birth or death until 1913, and full compliance was not generally found until 1920. The earliest census records for our county go back to 1784, and marriage records 1783, and land records go back further still to 1763. This might be the only record of the ancestor, and land deeds are reliable because county clerks have recorded land transactions in deed books since the inception of the county. What is a deed? A deed is a written legal document transferring ownership of property from one person to another person. Land records can be issued at the federal, state, county, and town level. It is important to know where records are held to do a proper search. North Carolina deeds are kept at the county level, and we are researching Mecklenburg County. Deeds are usually written by a person of authority in education, such as a county clerk, a lawyer, a justice of the peace. The person selling the land, his wife, and 2 witnesses are needed to be present at the time the deed is written. It is the buyer's responsibility to have it court recorded and pay the fee. The buyer kept the original deed, and the clerk wrote a copy of the deed into the deed book. Why search for deeds? Let's find the value of land records. Land records pinpoint both the time period and place of where an individual lived, and can include information of family ties of interested parties, such as the name of a spouse, an heir, and other relatives. Land records may also include additional details, such as where a person came from, his occupation, age, if he was illiterate, who were his neighbors, if he had served in the military, or if he was a naturalized citizen. Land records can also help differentiate individuals or families with the same surname. For example, using physical markers in deeds, such as a creek, can distinguish from one William Smith to another William Smith living in the same county. Information from land records will lead to other types of records to search, such as probate or court records, marriage records, military records, or immigration and naturalization records to learn more about your ancestor and his family. What are the components of a deed? A deed follows a certain format. Knowing the basic parts of a deed helps us to interpret what is being said in the deed. This is especially helpful with original documents, which frequently have challenging handwriting. The parts of a deed include the type of legal instrument, such as a warranty, quitclaim, mortgage, trust, tax sale, and sheriff's sale. It provides the date of the sale, typically both at the beginning and the end of the deed. It provides the date of recording. Keep in mind that it is the buyer's responsibility to have a copy recorded with the county and pay a fee. This may be done later, perhaps with an event change like a death or sometimes a change in location. They provide the names of the grantee, who is the buyer, and the grantor, who is the seller. We also find the county and state of residence and the amount of money for the sale. Also a property description, and in North Carolina, this is measured by metes and bounds. And the nature, conditions, and considerations. Some examples are an acknowledgement that the seller has been paid, a statement that the property can be sold or inherited, or a recital clause stating how the seller got the land, or a warranty clause stating that the seller will be reliable to the buyer if there were problems or complications with the land. Then you would find a dowry release, which is an acknowledgement that the wife is letting the land be sold of her own free will, or the husband has agreed to the sale of the property, and that's called a courtesy right. And then we will find signatures copied into the deed book. These are not original signatures. And then the names of the two witnesses. The last three slides were provided by Family Search Wiki page for U.S. land records. And if you'd like to further research land records, I would recommend checking that additional content. Now that we understand the importance of land records to our research and the basic components of a deed, let's search for a deed. Let's practice our search using an example. In our example, we have William Givens, who sold land about 1809 to William Ward. A convenient way to access the Mecklenburg County Register of Deeds website is through our website, oldmec.org. Accessing the index and images. Today we are going to navigate and access the Mecklenburg County Register of Deeds website to find land records of our ancestors. First, access oldmec.org. And at the home screen on the left-hand side in green, scroll down to Resources. Click on Resources. On this screen, on the right-hand side of the page, you'll find Mecklenburg County Resources. And the first one is Deeds. Click on Deeds. This provides us access to the Mecklenburg County Register of Deeds remote access website. This is their website access for historical land records. On the bottom of the page in blue There is a disclaimer indicating this is information only and there may be errors or omissions. Click on the blue link. On this screen, in the middle of the screen, is Scanned Index Books in green. This is going to provide us access to the book and page number that we need to find our original document images. Click on the green link. On the left-hand side of the screen, you will find Search Image Index. It will have grantor at the left top of the screen. This is the party selling the property. You can click on the down arrow to the right in that field to change to grantee, which is the purchaser. In our example, we're using grantor. So click on Next. This will ask for a year range, and there is an arrow to the left of the box. Click on that and scroll to find the range you are searching. For our example, we are looking between 1763 and 1839 date range. So we will scroll down and click on that. If needed, click on Next. The next field says Human Corporation and has a box to the right of it. This is where we put our surname. Only type your surname. In our example, Givens. And then to the right of that box is Search. Click on Search. This provides an image of our grantor index to real estate conveyances. A conveyance is a transfer of property from one party to another. What information does it provide? On the top far right-hand side of the page is the page number of the index. And then we have a heading. Starting on the left, we have the date of record. It will provide the surname of the grantor, the land seller, and then broken up by alphabet in 3 groupings, A through H, I through O, P through Z will be the first or given name of the grantor. Then it will provide the book number, page number, the kind of instrument, what type of deed or other codes, and the grantee, the party who is purchasing or receiving the land, and then a brief description of what type of property it may be or location. Navigationally on this screen we have slide bars, and we can slide up and down because this is larger than the standard page. And if you look on the left, this is not just one index. For our example of Givens, we are currently in a grouping of GA through GZ, and there are 26 index pages of index for surnames GA through GZ. So we can use our scroll bar to look down for our example of Givens. And now I see it referencing the index page 11 for surname Givens, Givens. Click on that. Now it pulls my page number 11 for index. We are now looking for our given who issued to Ward. Since I am now in the Givens, I am going to look under the Grantees column for Ward. And there he is. Date of record, 1812. Notice it's not the date we had of 1809. This is when the buyer paid a fee and had it recorded with the county. So there will be some variance. Givens, the surname of the grantor or the seller. William, his given name. The book number 19, page number 658, the kind of instrument, a deed, and the name of the grantee, William Ward. A brief description, Cedar Fork of 12 Mile Creek. Now what we need to pull up our actual image is the book and the page number. At the top of the screen, under View Image, I type 19 for book and 658 for page, and select the View button underneath book. This pulls up our document. Notice it does indicate our page 658. Let's look at this land record in detail. This primary source document provides pertinent information about the land sale. We find the date, February 4th, 1809, between the grantor or seller, William Givens of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, and the grantee or purchaser, William Ward of York District of South Carolina, and the purchase amount, $450, purchased for a parcel of land in Mecklenburg County, and the land description, the south side of Cedar Fork of 12 Mile Creek. Here you will find additional description which will vary greatly between deeds. It may provide information about heirs, neighbors, occupation, military service, or detailed information about the property. In our example, it's continued detailed information about the property. Some information that's provided might not be as useful, like referencing a Spanish oak that likely is no longer living. However, if there's set measurements or physical attributes to the property, like the creek, you may be able to walk the property and find those physical aspects of the property still today. It provides you a different context and perspective of the land. There's also additional clues. In this example, they reference B-Jack Corner near the sawmills. Here, you could pull historical records and see if you could find B-Jack Corner, which may be a road or a property, and the sawmills. And it provides you more of an aspect of what your ancestor would have been seeing and working with and having neighbors during the time period. Then at the bottom of the page we have witnesses, Osborne and Ormond. And then we have the grantor's signature, William Givens, with his seal. Here, keep in mind, this is not his signature. This was the recorded deed in the court, so it was likely penned by a clerk, judge, or someone of authority. However, it can glean you some information if there is an X for their signature or X as their mark. That would indicate the party was likely illiterate. So there is additional information and this is a powerful tool to be able to access our primary document. And we thank the Mecklenburg County Record of Deeds for digitizing our documents and making them available to us to further our land research on our ancestors. I hope this dispelled any concerns you might have about accessing this valuable tool. Now you have the basic tools to navigate the Mecklenburg County Register of Deeds website for remote research. This is one resource for Mecklenburg County deed research. A second powerful resource is in Herman Ferguson's Abstract of Deed books. Mecklenburg County Genealogical Society offers a wonderful option to summarize or enhance your deed research. The Society holds a series of abstracts of deeds for Mecklenburg County that removes the need for a deep dive of records. Herman Ferguson spent 30 years abstracting Mecklenburg County records and compiled a user-friendly summary that provides your pertinent information from the deeds. These are detailed, well-researched records that complete critical information and summarize and interpret the documents in a manner that enhances your primary source documentation. If you look in the example, all pertinent information regarding the deed conveyance from Gibbons to Ward is provided, as well as additional information about the witnesses having neighboring lands. You may access this series as a reference material visiting on location, and it is also available for purchase on the Mecklenburg Genealogical Society website under Publications. Here are some research tips to consider. All deed documents will vary. Due to age and handwriting, legibility can be challenging. Look for key words to guide you to the pertinent detail. Keep the components of deeds in mind as you search for keywords. In our example, we had an idea of a date to search. If you do not, select dates around major events such as a death or marriage. If you are unsuccessful, expand your date range 5 to 10 years beyond an event. Keep in mind the buyer has the responsibility to register it with the county and may do so years after the transaction. The reasons vary. Some may not officially document it while it remains in the family. Some will have it recorded after the wife dies, even though her son already owns the property. Some may transfer property before a death in their older age. Work both ends of the problem. In our example, we search by the grantor or seller. Just as we work backwards on our family tree from information we know to search for what we do not know, it may be easier to work backwards and search by the grantee or buyer. This concludes the tutorial on Mecklenburg County deeds. Should you require additional assistance, please contact us via email at info@oldmeck.org or visit us on the second floor of the Charlotte Museum of History at 3500 Shamrock Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina 28215.